mental health circles, it's quite popular to talk about the inextricable connection between mind and gut. And I mention this because our guest today probably represents an ideal kind of strength of mind and gut, because she happens to be in a profession that is widely known and acknowledged to be one of the most high pressure jobs one can have. I have no qualms confessing that I certainly don't have the stomach for it. Live broadcasting is a very, very special kind of a vocation, which, in my limited understanding, is successfully done by a very, very specific breed of person, somebody probably who revels in high pressure, adrenaline, so on and so forth. So I suppose the fact that she mostly covers sports or sport related activities, events, personalities makes her an ideal fit. Uh, on a perfectly serious note, it's fair to say that it is one of those jobs and one of those roles that really does kind of test one's resilience, psychological resilience, particularly, and which is why it makes for a very interesting thing to talk about on our platform. I'm very, very happy and grateful that Ridhima Pathak has agreed to be in conversation with us. She's somebody who's vastly experienced in this realm, makes it look astonishingly simple, which it isn't. And it so happens, by happy coincidence, that a certain recent interview of hers has made her currently the media it girl. So, thank you very much, Ridhima, and a very warm welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thank you for having me.
Let me begin then by asking you, assuming that it is a very high pressure job, what are some things or pursuits by way of which you yourself relax or unwind or calm down?
Well, lots of things. Physical exercise is one way that, it really, really calms me down. One is just going for a simple walk with my headphones on is one way to calm down. But other than that, things that really calmed me down is a bunch of friends. And I'm lucky to have some really, really close friends. And most of my friends are freelancers as well. So it's not like a 9 to 5 job where I have to be very careful about entering their houses because they've got office the next day. And, I have a bunch of friends who come from the same profession or more so similar profession. And that really helps. I've made a good bunch of friends to help me calm down, honestly. And
Wonderful.
mom, dad, just calling them and figuring out things and vacation. I do make sure that I take 2 vacations in a year, so that really sort of works for me.
Are you genuinely able to, or you ensure that you quote unquote disconnect while you're on vacation?
I'm not able to disconnect while I'm on vacation. But usually what happens is that I'm a very in the moment kind of a person. So when the vacation is going really good or when I'm really enjoying myself, I actually don't look at my phone that much, surprisingly. So yeah, I don't. It depends how my vacation is going. If I'm really enjoying it, I wouldn't really. I would totally disconnect.
That makes sense. Now, there's been a lot of talk around what is come to be known as the always on culture, particularly when, spoken in the context of social media, and you have influencers and such who seem to kind of always be in this super sparkly mood and very, very kind of upbeat and almost unnaturally so. I'm not suggesting that that is what your vocation entails. Having said that, there is a certain presence of mind that you have to have when you're a live broadcaster. Um, do you think that there is a certain type of person who's more equipped to do that, perform that type of task, or were you yourself somebody who had to train yourself and mold yourself to become that way?
Influencer and live broadcaster are two different things.
Of course.
So the requirement of the on-screen person are two different things. So one that you're talking about, a happy-go-lucky, always happy kind of a persona, I would say is very much an influencer thing. I mean, you've got a live broadcaster who is Nasir Hussain, Harsha Bhogle. You don't see them to be all the time chirping. They when the situation is grey, when you're talking about something which is against the odds, then they're not happy-go-lucky. So
Absolutely. No, no. The chirpiness part of it, of course, is very, very specific to what you very rightly pointed out. Having said that, you would agree that there is a presence of mind. There's a certain, there could be scenarios where you have to do a certain damage control, jump in with kind of, on the fly creative solutions. So to be all there and extra present, did you have to prepare yourself to become that way and effective, or were you somebody who handled that kind of pressure and atmosphere very well?
the basic foundation of that was there, but after a certain time, you just keep looking at your seniors, and then you learn that how they handle such situations, especially live broadcast. Because, like for example, right now I was watching the India Ireland match, and it started to rain. I wanted to switch the channel. I wanted to watch it because I wanted to see how are they filling, how are they doing a rainfield show, because one rainfield show is different from the other, and that is pure spontaneity, honestly. Because that part of the show was not even live scripted, because when you're watching a match, at least there are some set of questions that can follow regarding India's innings, or regarding Ireland's innings, or whatever. But if it starts to rain and or something else happens, then it's really, really spontaneity. So, answer your question, the one thing that is the prime requirement of the job is spontaneity. And a basic foundation of that should be there. And then you build on from there to add that finesse in your spontaneity.
So, there are certain careers that are known to kind of bring fulfillment, particularly emotional, creative satisfaction, perhaps, being some sort of artist or a creative performer. And then there are other very specific areas of work that are known to deplete one's vitality. One hears all the time things like, investment banking and all of these really, really draining jobs, and you hear of corporate burnout. I don't know whether you'll be able to answer this, which would probably be politically incorrect to confess otherwise. But now, at this point in your own career, do you feel that your work life has added to your vitality or taken away from it?
Only added, honestly, only added. I don't think there is a job, and I worked in a corporate, by the way. I've been there. I was campus hired in a power management company. It was a $12 billion company expanding its electrical portfolio. Becoming, I've been there. I was a coder in software R&D. Then I shifted to business development, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Maybe I haven't given it as many years for me to lose my
Hmm.
vitality there, but I did lose it in only 1.5 years. Let me
Hmm.
tell you
Hmm.
that,
Hmm. Hmm.
because it didn't suit my personality.
Hmm.
But this has only added. Not only has it added to my, you know, um, to my career, to my growth as a human being, but it has also added in many ways to the spirit of competitiveness. It has added in many ways to my entire mindset. I feel like I've been to another school for the last 10 years rather than being in a profession. I wish I'd gotten this kind of a training when I was much younger, because even if you're on the sidelines, I kid you not, broadcast trains you to be as good as an athlete, at least mentally.
Hmm.
Because let me tell you that, to be in an Indian broadcast, especially when it is cricket, it is as tough. It is really tough, honestly, because there are so many people who are vying for that job. It is one of the best jobs in the world. So it keeps you on the edge, and everything under the sun that you can think of needs to be added in your kitty and your arsenal to be able to deliver a line on live broadcast. So I love what I do, honestly, and it has only added.
I'm delighted to hear that. It's only natural that with a rookie individual in any sector, a rookie reporter, journalist, because of perhaps a lack of a certain amount of experience on field, etc. Situations could make that individual slightly unsure, nervous, trip them up. Are there still instances where, for example, a guest who's being difficult could sort of, cause you a certain amount of bother? And then how do you navigate that situation?
100%. All this is a part and parcel of any career. It's got nothing only to do with media. It's a part and parcel of any career. It could be a colleague, it could be a boss, it could be a guest on the show. And yes, they can cause a lot of. Sometimes it could be an argument that you get into, or sometimes it could be some cue that you've missed, and sometimes the guest has said something on air and you've not liked it, and go back and reflect on it. Happens all the time. How do you maneuver it? You forget about it as soon as possible. It's because you're doing live. If you keep thinking what happened, you're not going to be able to see the next ball. So,
Hmm.
yes, it's
So you can't dwell on it.
you shouldn't.
Hmm.
It's not needed
Hmm. Hmm.
because everybody's moved on. Everybody's moved on. You got to move on as well. And it only not only sort of applies to you having a bad day with a guest, or or your producer or your director. It also sort of applies to you making a mistake on camera. You cannot dwell on it too much. The art of live broadcast is to move on.
I think you'll agree, sad as it is, that being a certain gender comes with its own set of perceptions, prejudices. It certainly does in kind of your line of work, where there is a section of society who will, make the assumption that, oh, this, lady being here or this girl being here is diluting the reportage or the commentary in terms of its intellectual, or in terms of its merit, and this is more in service of other things. Have you encountered this? Or even if you haven't, what have been your views on it? Is it something that makes you even more kind of stubborn to prove the naysayers wrong? Is it something that can get to you and kind of bring you down?
Used to bring me down. Yes, it happens. And I went back and saw some of my own shows, and I thought that they are not wrong actually,
Hmm.
because the depth of knowledge was honestly at some level questionable as compared to the kind of guests that I had. So instead of sort of sitting back and feeling bad about the fact that I was called out, or taking it in a way that it is because of my gender, I went back into the drawing board and sort of still am, make sure that I have done enough homework, and I have given the game its due respect for me to be able to have the caliber to be a part of a show where you've got the legends of the game as my guests. So I feel like sometimes in broadcast, yes, people have a certain kind of stereotype against a woman, because maybe because the women before that have not really performed to their expectations,
Hmm.
and that's the reason why the stereotype does come in. But honestly, if a woman can hold her own, and irrespective of the gender, life is life. Camera doesn't lie. If the show is as good as it would be with a man, nobody's going to question it.
Most certainly, of course. But then what does that really kind of entail? Do you make an extra effort to read up and to listen to different people, keep yourself updated?
All of it, actually. But more so in my case, I found that reading up about the game was not the problem. I thought that, if I had not picked up a bat and played a ball, the fluency of knowledge would not come across. It would still
Hmm.
look very bookish.
Hmm.
And honestly, at some level, it may still look bookish even now. But over the last couple of months, I started playing a little bit of cricket. I suck
Hmm.
at it, but at least I know, you know, what, how lucky can you get ki inside edge hoke before chala jaye. So
Hmm.
that this comes with, sometimes when you've gone through the experience.
Yeah, and I think that lived experience, the way it informs you in terms of your insight and knowledge is completely different.
And the way you take your pauses, honestly.
Hmm.
It's about the pauses. The way you take your pauses, it becomes very different when you've lived the experience versus when it's just bookish. So, yeah, I think that's my experience.
Well, what I'm taking away, which is wonderful to see, is somebody who is constantly kind of hungry to evolve and grow more, despite being at a certain, let's say, pedestal, which is wonderful because a lot of people out there believe after a certain amount of years put in that, they're Siddhi Vinayak. So it's nice to see.
Thank you.
Well, it's been nice chatting with you. I'm very happy that this whole milieu has only made you stronger and bolstered your arsenal of talents and proficiencies rather than bring you down. Thank you very much. We wish you all the best and really appreciate you having taken the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.